I'm Jack Kaiser. It's early March, and the legislature has just started its review of Governor Walker's proposed budget for the upcoming biennium. I'm here with County Board member Colleen Bates. Colleen has been a member of the Eau Claire County Board for the past 33 years. She's currently a member of the Board of Directors of the Wisconsin Counties Association. She has chaired numerous committees of the Eau Claire County Board over the years, and she's scrutinized the budget proposal from the standpoint of a person active in local government, and she's analyzed its effects on the local taxpayers and the local constituents. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
And is that correct? You've studied this massive document?
Well, I am in the process. I think we're all getting incremental information as this process moves along.
Have you been involved with the Counties Association and the Eau Claire County Board in discerning how that's going to affect us here in western Wisconsin?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we had a meeting this morning to go over some of the principal parts of it that will impact counties. And as you know, county government sort of does most of what it does through mandates from the state of Wisconsin. So we have a great concern as to how this budget is going to impact the services that we have to provide for the people in our county.
Well, would you list some of the concerns you have right now?
I'd be glad to do that. If I look at almost every department in the county, these particular issues are going to touch various departments. Transportation, the funding for private wastewater system replacement for low-income folks, recycling, the change in the capacity of the advisor, going from an authoritative board to an advisory board in the DNR structure, a change completely over the next 2 years in the Aging and Disability Resource Center and the services that it will and eventually will not provide. Regard to wind energy, a big concern is actually that which involves human services and the individuals within our county who use food stamps, need medical services, or need to have training through workforce development and are unemployed and draw unemployment compensation. So stewardship fund is another one. So a lot of different areas, and it's only a touch on each one of these areas. There are many others as well.
How does this budget proposal affect transportation and these issues?
Well, transportation by and far has not been resolved yet, and mainly because of the fact that there isn't adequate funding in the budget itself, so they're borrowing. They're borrowing $1.2 billion in this proposed budget. Now, why would that concern us? Because basically borrowing means that along with paying back for the cost, you're going to pay interest, where the state budget had approximately a 17% of its budget for interest, for debt service. This would bring it up to 25%. And since they want to have no more new taxes, that means it will require more cuts to cover those costs.
And those cuts will come from other functions of the county?
Absolutely. And we've seen that in a number of different areas, even in this budget. So trying to keep our roads safe, trying to maintain them, a key part of what we do in county government. And as budgets are somewhat limited, then basically we're not doing the job in a fashion that we can assure that.
You mentioned the Aging and Disability Resource Center as a concern. Tell us, what is the Aging and Disability Resource Center, and what does it do? How does it impact the people out there?
The Aging and Disability Center is an absolute great one-stop center. And it's a place where individuals, as they get older, or if they be disabled, can go to get advice to solve some of their problems. It may be that you had an 85-year-old mother that you were thinking, well, right now she's okay in an apartment or in her home, but what do I need to do in order to assure that she's going to get the care that she needs as time progresses? It's a resource that you can go into and talk to them about her needs and find out what's available in your community for her to access. And sometimes that means also getting an assessment to determine exactly what her needs are.
Does the Aging Disability Resource Center actually end up saving the taxpayers' money?
I don't think there's any question about that. The object of much of what they do is to be sure that people stay in their least restrictive settings, which means that potentially if they can stay in their homes, that's probably the most desirable. If not, then the step would be perhaps assisted living. But the final goal, of course, is to try to slow down and to keep them out of nursing home, which is really the most costly care that you can get as you grow older.
And what does this budget do to the Aging Disability Resource Centers in the counties in the state?
Over the next 2 years, it would change them completely. What we've known as network that has been really trusted and has delivered services that have been just wonderful over the years it's been in existence will gradually be phased out.
You mentioned drug testing for food share recipients as being a concern. Tell us about that.
I think that basically Eau Claire County stepped up and has a resolution that's being advanced to the Wisconsin Counties Association opposing this particular process.
Why?
And I think more than anything else, it's the cost factor. Even though they've put in this requirement, not only for individuals getting food stamps, but getting Medicaid or getting unemployment compensation, they did not put any funding in the budget to be able to take care of this testing or to take care of the treatment that also is required as a part of this budget proposal.
Presumably, who would foot the bill for that?
If we had to do it, because it's a mandate then, it would have to be indeed coming back to our property tax people.
You mentioned a concern over the stewardship fund provisions of the proposed budget. Tell us about that.
A stewardship allows us to purchase land for public use, and it's a great partnership, usually involving not only county money, but sometimes private sector money as well. This particular proposal puts a moratorium on the state partnership in that process. The state is not going to be a participant in the process.
And will that affect expansion of the Eau Claire County forests?
It could. I think right now we're not really so much expanding as perhaps exchanging. If we find more desirable land and exchanging it for land we may own elsewhere, still there often is a monetary impact of that as well.
Well, now that we've listed some of your concerns, would you be willing to come back and have another chat about the policy implications of this?
I certainly would. This is only the beginning of the process.
Well, thank you for being here today.
I appreciate it.